Why is this election important to you?
That's a tough question. It is important because, I mean, it does give every Canadian the right to have a say, you know, or who they think is going to lead the country. But as far as when I look at parties, I don't judge by the party, I judge by the person. So I look at, when I look at a federal election, I also look close to home because it's who I send from here to Ottawa that is going to help make the decisions.
I think every election should be important to every voter because it's going to dictate how our country functions for the next 4 years. So every election is equally important to me as the last.
Hopefully maybe there's going to be a better balance in Parliament, you know, where it's not just one majority specifically, just, you know, being in the business of making decisions.
Probably action on the climate, I suppose. It's been a lot of talk. The recent summit failed again, so it's time to, you know, get behind a plan and really do it this time. So, yeah, I'm going to be voting for the party that I think will drive it instead of just talking about it.
Well, I think leading during a pandemic is certainly nothing that anybody could have predicted, but I'm not thinking that the current leader did the best job of leading during a pandemic, and I think that maybe a party that has learned a little bit from his mistakes might be a good idea.
The political landscape is nightmarish to navigate as a young man in today's world, so but at the same time it's also important to pay attention and hold our leaders accountable for what they're doing.
It's time for change. Time for change. And we've seen what's going on the last 18 months. Are we happy? You know, I'm a lucky guy. I've lived a very good life in this country, but I've watched it in the last 3 or 4 years. The handouts really bother me because I come from a generation, get it done. Get it done. Go to work, get it done.
I think all elections are important. You know, the way the world's going and the way it's how we come out of this and how the direction we will decide a lot over the coming years, and especially with what's happening with the Indigenous, the treaties, Black Lives Matter, diversity, inclusion. This is going to set the tone for the kind of people and the kind of country we want to be moving forward.
It's important with the economy, and as like a pensioner, for like I live in low-cost housing and stuff like that. It's been very helpful to me. I wouldn't mind, as a pensioner, we could use a little more money because you know, right now everything has gone up and we're all having it a little bit tough right now. So, but otherwise we're surviving.
Well, they're all important to me. You know, as soon as I turned 18, I was able to vote, and you know, my mom made me want to read about it and look up. You know, read into everything you vote for, and so it's always been important to me. You know, you want if you get rid of your vote, you don't have a say, and I want to be able to have a say to stick up for, you know, what I believe in with politics.
Well, I think it's a really important year. There's a lot of stuff going on, like the health crisis and also the housing crisis, and dealing with climate change and stuff. And so I think that it's really important that we choose somebody who will represent the voices of the people and their needs, and without kind of like corporate interests, and just making sure that the average citizen is being represented.
Why is it important? Because it could potentially determine how we're going to be living in the next 5 to 10 years. Do we want to stay in the current course of pandemic and, you know, economy and stuff? I felt like there's a lot of things that happened before the pandemic that we didn't resolve. So it's very important to put this behind us and see get back on track. You know, we want jobs, obviously, immigration. I have kids, so, you know, the future of this country and their, you know, well-being is at stake. So there you go.
I'm an Albertan. We need to get the Liberal Party out. We've been decimated out west, and we need some pipelines. I mean, our situation in Canada is so ridiculous, not having pipelines, with Line 5 trying to be enclosed, and we're importing Saudi Arabian oil every day. It is so ridiculous in this country. We are almost committing suicide, and it's appalling when you look at the other nations across the world, what they do to protect their own whether it's Norway or any of those that are oil countries that protect their own industries. What we do here, at every turn, we've been handcuffed with producing some of the most ethical oil on the planet, which is mind-blowing.
It's important to me because when you look at the current party in power, there were a lot of very important promises made that were later told, no, they're not important. Example being electoral reform, which is incredibly important to everyone in this country. We need people who are actually going to do what they say. We need people to be fair about what they're doing and actually be concerned with all Canadians, not just the select few in Ontario that they really seem to placate. I understand it's a numbers game and you're really working towards where you're going to get the biggest, highest concentration of individuals. But us on the verges and edges of the country are really important too, and we want to have our voices heard and we want to be seen and have our concerns addressed.
I think every election is important to me. So it's our way to voice what our opinions are. And obviously, if you don't vote, you have to keep your mouth shut.